Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new session. I hope all of you are doing great and staying healthy. Okay, so today is Thursday again, and me and Ananya are back with a new session of current updates. Okay, so today's topic is sports autobiographies and biographies. So, overall, we are going to talk about sports literature. So, the thing is, in net, or in SET or in various PSC exams, often questions have come from this area of sports literature as well, especially autobiographies of famous sports persons, be it cricketers or footballers or basketball players or tennis players, right? So today we will be taking a look at some of those famous autobiographies and also some critical works which have been written on sports by famous Indian sports critics like Boria Mojumdar and all. So without further ado, I will just start sharing my screen. Okay. The screen is visible, I guess. Yeah. Right. So current updates, and today's topic is sport autobiographies. Okay. Ananya, are you there? Can you read? Okay. So sports autobiographies. In today's session, we will look at some sports autobiographies. So let's go. Here is our first work that we want to talk about. Okay, it is My Life. Queen of the Court by Serena Williams. So Serena Williams is a very popular name. She needs little introduction and having won every major title going in tennis. From growing up playing on courts covered in broken glass in Compton to reaching the top of world tennis, all while being criticized for her unorthodox playing style and dealing with the tragic shooting of her older sister, Serena Williams has proven herself an inspiration to her multitudes of fans. In her autobiography, My Life, she reflects on her extraordinary journey. So, in exams, you can get these questions in the form of match the following pairs correctly. So, this types of questions or this type of works mostly come in the forms of match the pairs. So even that 2 marks is very precious. So just knowing the titles and the authors will be enough, I guess. So My Life is the autobiography of Serena Williams. Okay? All right. Ananya, here is the next work.
So, The Race of My Life by Milkha Singh. Milkha Singh has lived a life dominated by running, running, running. From a boy who narrowly escaped death during partition, to a juvenile delinquent who stole and outran the police, to a young army recruit who ran his very first race to win special privileges for himself. That was a daily glass of milk. After that first race, Milkha Singh became an athlete by default. And what followed was the stuff legends are made of. In this remarkably candid autobiography, Milkha Singh shares the amazing highs of winning India's first ever gold in athletics at the Commonwealth Games, the unbridled joy of being hailed as the flying Sikh in Pakistan, as well as the shattering low of failures at the Olympics. Simple yet ambitious, famous yet grounded. Milkha Singh was a man who defined his own destiny and remained committed to running. And yet, remarkably for a man whose life was dominated by sports, he continues to remain disillusioned with the way sports is run. This is powerful and gripping. The Race of My Life documents the journey of an impoverished refugee who rose to become one of the most towering figures in Indian sports.
So I think all of us are well acquainted with the figure of and the fame of Milkha Singh. So the Race of My Life, it's by Milkha Singh. So just be aware about the titles and who wrote these works. I think that's going to be enough for this area. Okay, so let's move on to the next work. Okay, yes. So it is A Corner of Foreign Field, the Indian history of a British sport, and it's by Ramchandra Guho. So it's more of a historical work and the critical work on sports, right? So Ramchandra Guha is a phenomenal historian. So the book was initially conceived as a biography of a left arm spinner, Palwankar Balu. Balu was a Dalit, a community that has historically been subjected to untouchability under the Indian caste system. His cricketing feats, however, enabled him to overcome contemporary Indian social barriers associated with being a Dalit. As Ramchandra Guha explored Balu's story further, the book expanded to become a social history of cricket in India. It's a very important topic. The social history of cricket in India. And cricket, as you all know, it was the sports of the Britishers, the sports of the masters or the colonizers. On the subject of the book, Guha has written, "The making of modern India is its theme, with cricket serving merely as a vehicle, as my chief source of illustrative example." It's a very important work which not only comments on the sports of cricket, but it also comments on the making of the modern state of India. It's also a critical commentary on the lives of the Dalits, and how a sports like cricket, a sports of the master, actually enabled him to overcome his social barriers and live his life, right? So it's a very important work, A Corner of Foreign Field by Ramchandra Guha. Okay. Next work, yes. Okay, so before we move on, it's just a reminder that from May 10th, we have started our admissions for our 6-month regular course for December NET 2024. And this admission is for our offline classes at Trivandrum, and the classes will start from July 1st onwards. If you haven't enrolled yet, please do and get started with your preparation already. Okay, yes. Ananya, over to you.
Unbreakable by Mary Kom. Now born to parents who were landless agricultural laborers in the state of Manipur in northeast India, Mary Kom's story is one of relentless struggle and unflagging passion for boxing. A childhood of hard labor prepared her body for the sport as well as any fitness training might have. Her own will and aggression carried her through the minefield of politics that any sport in India is. Nimble of foot and pulling no punches, the boxing ring was her domain. MC Mary Kom is not yet ready to call it a day, but here she tells her story so far, no holds barred. Her tough childhood, her rebellions, and how she held her own in the male world of boxing. It's all packed in this inspiring, exhilarating tale of a woman who faced impossible odds in a man's world and won.
So I think we all know how much of an inspiring figure she is, Mary Kom, right? So it's Unbreakable. It's an autobiography, right? Unbreakable. It's by Mary Kom. Okay. Next work is 11 Gods and a Billion Indians by Boria Mojumdar. Again, it's a critical commentary on the sports of cricket. As you all know that cricket is the most famous sport of India, right? So 11 Gods and a Billion Indians goes deep into every Indian cricket tour since 1886, taking the reader backstage to when India played its first test in 1932 and bringing the story forward to the more contemporary IPL to provide a complex and nuanced understanding of the evolution and maturity of the game. Equally, it comes with material that has never entered the public domain so far, going behind the scenes of cases like Monkeygate, the suspension of Lalit Modi, spot fixing, and the phase of judicial intervention. It carries not just reportage and analysis, but also player reminiscences, personal interviews, photographs, and letters never known or discussed so far in Indian sporting discourse. Weaving together such material, 11 Gods and a Billion Indians unflinchingly confronts questions that demand answering. Among them, has internal bickering impacted the on-field performance of the Indian cricket team? Did some of our icons fail the country and the sport by trying to conceal important facts during the spot-fixing investigation? And does it matter to the ordinary fan who heads the BCCI if there is transparency and accountability in the system? in the end, in telling the story of the role of cricket in colonial and post-colonial Indian life and the interrelationship between those who patronize, promote, play, and view the sport. 11 Gods and a Billion Indians unravels the story of a nation now considered the financial nerve center of world cricket. So it's a very phenomenal work because Boria Mojumdar is a big name in the world of sports. He's a very prominent sports critique, right? So 11 Gods and a Billion Indians by Boria Mojumdar. And again, these works, they have not only commented on the sports itself, they've also commented on the society, money, like how money also controls sports, right? Fame, and how these sports actually create communities. They create camaraderie among people, because we often say that best form of love for the country you get to see when an Indian supports a cricket match between India and Pakistan. So it also shows how sports like cricket, they control nations, they control feelings of people. So these are very important works. Just know the titles and the authors. That's gonna be all right. Okay, next work. Yeah.
The Test of My Life. This is by Yuvraj Singh. That day I cried like a baby, not because I feared what cancer would do, but because I didn't want the disease. I wanted my life to be normal, which it could not be. For the first time, Yuvraj Singh tells the real story behind the 2011 World Cup, when on the field triumph hid his increasingly puzzling health problems and worrying illnesses. We all know about this as we've seen this in the news, right? In his debut book, The Test of My Life, he reveals now, plagued with insomnia, coughing fits that left him vomiting blood, and an inability to eat, he made a deal with God. On the night before the 2011 ICC Cricket World Cup final, Yuvraj prayed for the World Cup in return for anything God wanted. In this book, he lays bare his fears, doubts, and the lows he experienced during chemotherapy, when he lost his energy, his appetite, and his hair, and his battle to find the will to survive. Poignant, personal, and moving. The Test of My Life is about cancer and cricket, but more importantly, it is about the human will to fight adversity and triumph despite all odds. This is The Test of My Life by Yuvraj Singh.
Again, these are not only autobiographies which talk about a particular sport. These are autobiographies which comment on human experience, lived realities, and how people deal with particular situations. Like he dealt with cancer. He battled with cancer and came back, right? So these are the experiences these works also talk about, and it's very important. Like this genre of life writing, they uh, bring forth these experiences, right? Writing of life. That's what we mean by the genre of life writing. So there's autobiographies. They not only necessarily talk about sports, they talk about life. They talk about lived experiences. Okay, next. It is Ace Against Odds. So Ace Against Odds is a 2016 biography of the Indian professional tennis player Sania Mirza. The book is her official biography chronicling her journey to becoming one of India and world's topmost female tennis players. The book also contains some memorable encounters of the player on and off the court and the people and the relationships that have contributed to her growth as a person and as a sports person. The book was released at the hands of Shah Rukh Khan at a function in Hyderabad in July 2016. So S Against Odds, it's about Sania Mirza. Okay, next.
Playing to Win is by Saina. In this fascinating memoir, she talks about her childhood and growing up years, her relationship with the most important people in her life, the ups and downs of her celebrated career from district level wins to the Olympics, and the sacrifices needed to succeed in any sport. She also reveals little known facts and offers a peek into her many avatars: daughter, sister, student, and the regular girl behind the badminton prodigy, as we all know. It shows the typical day in Saina's life is like rigorous training, a strict diet, and no parties or sleepovers. But it's not all work and no play. Saina loves to shop, eat ice cream, post wins only, and play games on her iPad. With candid photographs and badminton tips from the pro herself, this book showcases the making of a badminton champ in her own words.
Again, a very famous personality, a very important sports person for India, that is Saina Nehwal's Playing to Win. Okay. So before we wrap up for tonight, it's just a small reminder that we have already started our admissions for our 6-month regular course for December 2024. And this admission is for our offline classes at Trivandrum. The classes will start from July 1st. There are 2 phone numbers on the screen where you can contact and get your queries resolved and join the course accordingly. So that's all for tonight. Yes. Ananya, shall we wrap up?
Yes, good night, everyone.
So I really hope you guys like the discussion, and we will